Hi, everyone. Anyone has seen any RPC content that I've been in over the past probably 2 years, you've known that me and Tyler at any given moment will rant and rave and gossip about Resident Evil any chance we can get.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see at the bottom here, normally when I do these reviews, I have a don't watch if you haven't seen the show because I don't like people being spoiled on things. I don't give a shit this time around. I don't. Because you're not missing anything. I partially think that this was a CW show that got lifted and put on Netflix and got Resident Evil references hammered into it.
Yeah, it feels like that 120%.
From the second that the RE0 caterpillar pops up in that zone that she's looking at, I was not impressed. Well, I should say I was not impressed with what the show was going to be the second that I heard what the synopsis was, which was Wesker and his kids settle down in their life in New Raccoon City in Africa.
Don't even know where to start with that. It's like,
loving father Wesker, New Raccoon City in Africa. Where, what government or who, whatever, would think, you know what? We need to name something Raccoon City again.
It's like New Hiroshima. Like, why? Tempt fate?
And keep in mind, this show is canon.
Yes, somehow.
So, somehow, before this show happened, Umbrella got back enough credibility to where they are okay to start making products again, funding whole towns, down to the point of where they're even making skateboard wheels that are Umbrella branded. And according to the director, everything all the way up past Village has happened.
Yeah.
Past Village. So we're on Blue Umbrella that Chris was with for 2 minutes and 7 that never got referenced again in 8. And now it's just back to Red Umbrella that acted like Neo, Tricell, and all that shit never happened.
And BSA no longer a thing. But again, I guess if a corporation can just say, "Yeah, we're sorry, we polluted your entire country," yeah, we're fine, whatever. I guess
it's like they were bankrupted and dead by 4.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite plot points of the whole series. How did the evil company die? Sanctions after a Senate investigation.
Exactly. Exactly. And then they had Tricell with Excella. And then somehow Blue Umbrella goes, no, we're going to be good guys. And then we had the Connections, which also disappeared clean off the face of the earth after 7. But yeah, what we're trying to say here is continuity didn't come into factor here for this show that is supposed to be canon.
Yeah, continuity is, it's fine.
But anyway, so that's basically what I had for my first 2 notes. Raccoon City in Africa, Resident Evil Zero Caterpillar. First thing that threw me off, which they actually clarify it later, but end up making it more confusing, is the Wesker family. When the plot line was that not white Lance Reddick is playing Wesker and has 2 kids that, hey, Tyler, explain those 2 children's births.
They're twins, but not.
They got 2 fertile eggs in the same mom from 2... No, wait, hold on. They got 2 fertilized eggs at the same time in 2 different mothers. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Just want to make sure I got that hullabaloo that they overcomplicated the living shit out of for no reason correctly.
It could have been just twins, normal. There's something wrong with
Could
that.
have! Wesker could have found someone. Wesker. Keep in mind, I'm going to keep using unbelievably heavy quotation marks with Wesker. And also, might be the dumbest thing a Resident Evil property has ever done. Why do you need a name for zombies now?
Yeah, in this franchise, they were just zombies. They never ever said anything else because pop culture exists in this world, and zombies are a thing.
It also is one of the properties that helped popularize the word.
Yeah.
Why do they need to be called Zeros now?
Because I guess someone who wrote this was a big fan of Resident Evil Zero.
I don't know. You have Freakers in Days Gone. You have Walkers in The Walking Dead. You have all these other things where it's like, and the Evil Within has a different name every time it comes up. Just call them zombies, for crying out loud.
Oh, and last with clickers.
Clickers. There we go. Exactly. You are the one that helped invent the word. Why are you scared to use it?
And of those, only The Walking Dead actually gave an excuse, and that was Robert Kirkman saying, well, in this universe, George Romero never became a director, therefore no one knows what a zombie is.
There you go. That makes sense. There you go.
Everyone else, it's like, I guess we just don't want to call it the obvious.
Exactly. We don't want to be one of those people where it's just like, you know what? If we're going to make up your own term, it's fine. But anyway, so we need to talk about the dialogue.
Oh.
How many times did you think you were going to get Disney property porn parodies that they talk about openly as clever dialogue points?
I want to be in the boardroom when the producers, whoever pitched this said, you know what I think we need to do? We need to establish this character has an obsession with not just porn, not just furry porn, but furry porn based off a Disney property from the year 2016.
Yes. And it's how she avoids conversations with her father.
Yes, which is an actual plot point.
I'm going to keep in mind with you people, we're barely... the stuff we've talked about is barely 20 minutes into the first episode.
That first episode really front loads everything. It's like, yeah, this is what it's going to be.
But yeah, and I also think that this is one of the worst, in my opinion, property, or I should say show, that handles flowing back and forth from past and present. It happens so often. And
yeah, it feels like from like 2022 to like 2038, just like, back and forth, like a yo-yo.
And it's never really oh, by the way, we're done enough showing you that eventually something... That past plot takes so long to take effect. It's like, Billy's done. Yeah, we get that. You need to take 8 episodes to finally get to the point that Billy's done? Are you kidding me?
Speaking of Billy, that's my favorite part about the first episode, that as I saw the scene happening, I literally saw the producer conversation and go, you know what the kids like? The kids really like Billie Eilish. So how about we have a character that kind of looks like Billie Eilish, introduced with a Billie Eilish song in the background, and let's call her Billy.
Yeah, I am so shocked that at the end of this, when we got to see adult Billy, that bad guy was not playing in the background.
That was the big shocker. I was like, they were thinking it. I'm sure they were thinking it. It was probably too expensive.
For the amount of, I was talking with my little sister Adley, who knows nothing about Resident Evil, but I showed her the playlist. I'm like, out of all these songs, how many of these are random things that you basically just learn from being on TikTok? She's like, 90% of the music on that. I'm like, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that's what we decided to be the metric for what we put in a Resident Evil show. What I want. TikTok famous songs and teen drama.
Teen drama, TikTok music, Zootopia porn, and random song numbers.
Yeah.
Boy, I sure loved it when Dr. Marcus got up and started singing and dancing.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get there. Oh, don't you? I've got notes. Don't worry. We're getting there. So, you and me are one of those people that, appreciate the references when they're used.
Yes.
In Revelations 2, they point blank have Barry be an old man trying to make jokes and bring up references from within its own show. And it's from people that would know those characters.
Yes.
You want to know what doesn't work well? When people that would have never met those characters say those lines.
Yes, like they do the Master of Unlocking in the most apprehensive way possible.
I threw up in my mouth when that guy said that.
Yeah, that feels like someone probably just Googled Resident Evil quotes, went like, that works.
And like, y'all won't put Jill in anything anymore. But you'll have that jackass use the one thing she's known for most outside of Jill Sandwich. Which I'm shocked somehow they didn't have a Jill Sandwich stand at the school. Because, you know, they got to have the things that matter in there. I will tell you, the one reference that I thought was cool is them playing Moonlight Sonata. That was the legit only one where I was like, you know what? That one's okay. If you're going to have anything with a piano, that's what it is. And again, I have not seen that newest Resident Evil movie yet because I haven't went out and got the Blu-ray. I'm going to get it regardless, but it was not playing in my local theater. So I didn't get a chance to see it.
Probably because it bombed so hard.
Yeah. So to my knowledge, until this show has happened, we never saw a live-action version of Lisa Trevor.
There actually
is she in the movie?
Yes, she actually is.
Okay.
And it's actually not a bad actual prosthetic version, believe it or not.
Okay, good. Well, we got to see Lisa again now.
Yes.
In here.
Someone really likes Lisa Trevor.
I was quite shocked. Because, like, in those earlier movies, there's some cool shit. Lisa's one of them.
Yes.
And this was the part where I started to get scared. Because they show Leather Jacket Wesker walking with his back below his neck toward Lisa. And I'm like, are y'all going out of your way to not show that old school Wesker's white? And that somehow you have to autocorrect that he's black now?
We're doing a Ninja Turtles?
And I'm like, I don't care what it is. I just need a reason. And you and me both know that soul transfer does exist in Resident Evil because they did it in 2 with a Wesker.
Yeah, so with his sister. Yeah.
Yes, fine. Exactly. So I'm like,
there's like 12 other kids they experimented on. It's fine.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But then we just get we just race swapped him because we got to see the happy family of clones in a basement where it was Bert, Wesker. Who was the other one? There was 3 clones. I can't remember what the other one was.
Oh, it was not a Resident Evil character name. I know that, which is like just a dude.
Just a dude. And then all of a sudden, actual Wesker, which actually looked like Lance Reddick in Blade Trinity cosplay, comes walking in.
That was the funniest thing. Because I knew they were trying, but it's like that instead of Matrix, it became Blade.
You should have made him bald. You should have just kept him bald.
Yeah.
Because all of his clones have a bad receding hairline, but old Wesker doesn't. And the best part is, this is pre-Resident Evil 5 Wesker, because he comes in asking about the chest control implant that they're going to put on Jill.
But they don't say Jill.
No! They're so allergic to outside of Wesker and, like, Marcus and a couple other last names actually referencing main character Resident Evil characters.
Like, now it's just getting silly.
Because they honestly don't know where they are at this point. Could you tell me where Jill is right now?
Taking therapy pills in 2015 was the last reference. And it's like 7 years later now.
Claire, outside of Chris, you can't tell me where any of them are.
No.
It's kind of ridiculous. They were like, we're in main canon, but we're so scared to mention other names because we literally don't know where they are that we can't.
Well, at the point of the series, if it's like 2038, well, everyone's going to be in an old folks' home at that point.
Exactly. It's to the point of where all these people are in their 40s as it is. when Village is out. And
Okay, the Village take place in 2021, and like I think the DLC is coming out this year. It's like 16 years later, so it's like what 2035.
Yeah. So this is supposed to be in what year was this based in?
2036. So I guess like
all of them are in an old folks' home.
Yeah. And Barry's under a freaking like probably sandwich grave at this point.
Yeah, okay, so anyway, the big plot point that we forgot to mention that triggers the long drawn out plot of the past is that animal experiments are happening again at Umbrella, and they break in with the greatest of ease just because they have a voice recording of their dad's voice and his key card.
Like that was easy.
They get through everything. There's no one working nights at the Umbrella Laboratory.
They don't pay overtime.
No, not at all. There's no automated sentry turrets. There's no nothing.
No security cameras.
No. They literally don't know until little Billy has gotten her neck turned into munch by that dog. They make it all the way down there.
Good thing they had that one dog.
Yeah, and so they're doing these experiments with this joy drug, which you have a show where I guess, and it's fixed because he's a clone of Wesker, where Wesker is being a loving father. He is trying to tell people to not inject something that would involve the T virus and that mind control is bad.
That's like the opposite of everything the character stands for.
They did, exactly. They're like, but he's a clone, so he's a better person.
I guess clones work on opposite day. Logic.
Yeah, I'm like, no one on the planet asked for a Wesker that is the opposite of everything that Wesker stood for. I was so done with Wesker by the time he got blown up in the volcano that we didn't need any more of him.
Yeah, so I was like, this is a fun character, but I feel like we've kind of just reached the point of we can't go any further than this.
Exactly. Do you know how happy I was? With Colonel Sanders in 6, I was not happy. I could have used anything else but Colonel Sanders.
Okay, he's pretty bad.
But when we got the Baker family in 7, and then even with the problems I have with how versatile the Cadeau was in 8, I was still happy that we got a new batch of freaks.
Yeah, there's no Wesker in there.
We did because we don't need it. You just don't.
Oh.
And do you know what the biggest deal is? And I'm pretty sure I told you this in the chat. You have now made it impossible, unless you're going to just act like this show didn't exist, to just bring Lance Reddick in to be an RE villain.
And that's a shame because he would probably make a really good villain.
He would. Can you tell me how great of just a menacing asshole that Lance Reddick could be if you just let him be Lance Reddick?
Honestly, I'm trying to imagine him as a better version of Simon from RE6.
You're not wrong.
It's like, I would like that character a lot more if it was Lance Reddick.
You're not wrong. You really aren't. He could just be some you want to know what he could honestly be? A more evil version of Silence from Horizon.
Or that too, yeah.
A guy that just uses people to get information because he sits in the background and it has 2 or 3 stooges that he sits under.
Which is literally every Resident Evil character. Like, I'm going to send my henchmen after you to kill you.
Exactly. And then I'm going to get blown up by some super maniacal weapon later on.
I'm going to get hit by a rocket launcher. I'm going to mutate into a monster, then get hit by a rocket launcher, and then we're going to helicopter out of here.
Exactly. I try to explain to people the exact way that a Wesker needs to die in order for it to be permanent. And they're like, it can't be that exact. I'm like, you need to be in a helicopter and you need to be firing an RPG that is shot by a red field.
Yes.
Otherwise, they don't die. And I was talking with that one.
Extra.
Well, Volcano's an extra. But they're like, that didn't happen in both. I'm like, Chris was in one and Claire was in the other. And they're like, oh, yeah, it does need to be by a red field. I'm like, the formula has been proven.
Exactly.
But anyway, so you have this joy drug. And you have Wesker being worried about it.
By weirdly, joy, that was also the name of a drug from a game called We Happy Few. So that's a bit weird.
Exactly.
Bioshock inspired. And Bioshock and Resident Evil are a little bit similar in other really popular horror franchises. And
similar.
Yeah.
You have him worry about this. And you have to try him talking to this Marcus, which they had to bring another Marcus spawn into the world because, we can't mention any other characters, so we have to make up new ones.
That was the weirdest thing. It's like, of all the characters you could have brought in, why would you mention James Marcus? He's only an RE0 and then infamously turns into a giant leech anime character.
Exactly. Does he ever mention about having kids?
No!
No! He has no spawn whatsoever. Except for the leeches.
Exactly. Just the leeches when he's like Leech King.
I mean, you have her wear white, so I guess that works.
Yeah, but then so does like every research character ever. That could have been freaking, I don't know, Annette Birking's daughter, another daughter, or whatever.
It could have been. You know how great it would have been if there would have been a Birkin sibling we didn't know about?
I'd be okay with that.
I'd have been very fine. Birkin would have been great. But, yeah.
Like, this is the evil Birkin daughter.
Yes. But, so, you have her telling him, so, how bad could it be? And to make Wesker sound stupid, you say you need to take 20,000 times the legal dose to be effective. That's not an exaggeration, people. They said 20,000 times.
Yeah. It's like,
why is Wesker worried? Someone could not take that amount of pills unless they're trying to overdose. Hard. Within a lifetime. You made him sound like the biggest idiot on the planet.
Like, I'm sure this will be fine. What's the worst? Like, yeah.
But then later, they have him inject a character with 3 times the legal limit, and he spazzes out, convulses, and dies.
I guess once you go past a certain limit, you're fine. That's how drugs work.
I guess. It was potency. One was a pill, one was a needle. It's different, I guess. But, yeah. So, we then have, in the future, which Jade is trying to figure out how this virus works. You know what? That's one thing that they've never actually done, which is a Days Gone thing that they do in Resident Evil. Higher brain
Days Gone,
function.
like, actually, yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, the virus is evolving because, like, they're actually cherishing their clothes and, like, their jewelry and stuff. And I'm like, that was one thing they don't do in zombie fiction. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And then they put it in Resident Evil. You know what? I wasn't against it. The way they did it was dumb, but I wasn't against it. So then we get to, I'm like, okay, I don't mind this future plot so much. Then we get to the part where they stupefied the future plot. Religion. God knows I needed that in my Resident Evil. This is God's plan. We've been
I'm just thinking about how much does religion come up in Resident Evil? I don't think very often.
Can you tell me a game
involved.
Can you tell me a game where an actual Christ-following religious person is a villain in a Resident Evil game? I can't think of a single one.
I can't
Give or take, I haven't played Gaiden in some of the smaller ones.
I highly doubt that Gaiden does that. But
I can't think of one.
RE4 and 8 are the closest ones, and that's because they had cults, but they're not Christian cults. They're like some sort of weird atheistic like insectoid. Although RE8 does kind of make it like that it was originally some sort of like an Eastern Orthodox like originally, but like that's very tangential.
But wasn't it more of like worshiping Mother Miranda versus an actual?
Well, but the way it's weird because the Japanese translation refers to like the being that is controlling the Kedu as the black god. That's only in the Japanese like version. They don't.
So that's more towards the Megamycete.
Megamycete is called the black god in the Japanese, I guess.
Okay.
Not version. I wouldn't call it dumb, but it's like that's literally it. But this is very tangential.
But it's like, how can you make a character a villain that we haven't done yet? Religion. You know why we haven't done that in 20 plus years of Resident Evil? Because no one in their right mind thinks that God wants you stuck here in a zombie form. You die and go to heaven. You could not sound dumber thinking that God wants you here stuck that way.
But Jesus was a zombie because he died and came back.
Yeah, but he's got rules, you know?
There's rules.
He became himself. He wasn't stuck around going, brains. You're literally going, God made a new form of purgatory on earth. Do you know what even Catholics have borderline denounced purgatory. So now you're making up a new form of purgatory on earth? You know how dumb that sounds?
Incredibly.
Oh, I was so ready to be done with that. But then this dumbass Resident Evil person, this freaking Umbrella person that's following him the whole time.
I don't think he has a name. He's just Umbrella Guy.
Umbrella Guy. If they said it, I don't know. One of the most annoying characters that Resident Evil has ever come up with, and there's Steve Burnside.
I was gonna say that's really impressive because I feel like you have to try harder to be, worse than yeah.
Yeah, just oh my gosh. But then the whole thing is him chasing her down, and then because she's an Umbrella experiment, she's valuable. And then like somehow in this new world, the world is more back to normal, but also still shit, because it's really weird in the later Resident Evil games what is screwed and what isn't.
Yeah, it gets a little weird. Yeah, like everyone accepts. Giant biological monster zombie things. They're a thing now.
They're just a thing now. Certain parts of Resident Evil are good, like gas leak is what 7 was. I believe.
That was the funny thing in 8. They kind of pass it off as like, there was a horrible gas leak in this town in Louisiana, and this whole family died. And no, there weren't giant monsters there whatsoever. Don't think about it.
No, we just had giant walls to contain gas.
Exactly. Don't think about it. It's like Chernobyl in there because of gas.
And
but also mercenaries in like Poland apparently are okay with using like hunters.
And we got to the point of where people think that the original Raccoon City didn't get nuked. We're to that point in society in Resident Evil.
I mean, okay, I'll accept that some crazy people think things that happened 20 years ago didn't happen. So I can roll with that. I said yes.
That was the one where I'm like, why do we need new Raccoon City? We're trying to make a new brand new thing that has no scandal behind it. But it's just like there's so much crap that Umbrella got thrown under for that got made public. We're back to the point of where now Umbrella can have secrets again. That blows my mind that we're trying this. Literally, in canon, 2 games ago, they have a company trying to fix Umbrella's image because it's so shattered.
It's a PMC. So it's like we traded in evil pharmaceutical company for private mercenaries, and this will fix the name. That's already amusing.
Yeah. And we're skipping all over the place because I'm just bringing up the main points. The plot is not even a relative thing. This is an 8-episode thing that could have been done in 2 hours. This got dragged out so long.
I mean, people thought the Obi-Wan Kenobi show dragged a little bit. Oh boy, you think that dragged? This is basically paint dries the show speed.
Yeah, and there was one reference to a game, only one, outside of Lisa Trevor. Dude, Didn't you know that Wesker died in 2009? This is weird, man. I'm like,
yeah.
I was just waiting for someone in the background to go, aren't volcanoes cool? Okay.
Sad. There's no reference to boulders in this set either.
No. They had the balls to put that boulder punching asshole in 8. Chris would have had to have told people that happened.
Which is the greatest implication that this guy just went around the world going, hey, baby, I punched boulders. Give me a drink.
But yeah. So then, yeah.
And then there's no Chris Redfield mentioned in this show either, so they couldn't do that without explaining that one backwards.
Exactly. Redfield's never mentioned once. They mentioned one character, and it's at the very end, and we'll get to it. And I missed it because I was on my cell phone. I was so done with the show at this point.
It was blinking, you miss it?
Yeah. But they have Anna Mila Schneider, which is what the donors' parents were, the Wesker clones. And now we start getting to the even stupider. I cannot stress to people. I tell people plots of Resident Evil and they sound dumb. You know why? Because Resident Evil lives off being dumb.
Yeah. Even the serious games like the remakes and 7 and 8, they know they're still silly. I think everyone forgets all the corniness. Like, anyone wants to tell me 7 was a serious game? I can't say that because the second boss fight in the game is literally an old man in a car doing wheelies. Come on.
Exactly. And you have a Dead or Alive chainsaw fight.
Yeah, where you're quoting freaking Evil Dead. Come on.
Yeah, and then in remake in 3, they turn Jill into a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
The amount of damage she takes within the first 10 minutes. She drives a car off a 5-story building and just walks it off.
You're fine.
But so This plot, in a comparison to Resident Evil, actually sounds dumb.
Yes.
Everything they go through is actually dumb. We start getting the higher brain function things. So we figure out this one thing is helping them spin the wheels at this factory where they found them. And that's how we're like, okay, she's evolved. I'm like, cool. That was great. That's a cool plot point. And then they immediately made it dumb. They cut off its head. That was a dumb part. And then keep it in a plastic bag and then take it back to the ship. They're just living on a ship. I'm like, cool. To this point, we're still... I don't care about the future.
Living on a ship is fine. I like Ari's Revolutions 1. This can work. And then it does not.
No. And then we're going to cut it open and we're going to experiment. And then I'm like, you found a zombie cure? I'm like, depends on how dumb you get with this. This could be okay. They immediately went dumb. Immediately. What is the one rule for your safe haven that you don't do? Bring a live zombie into it.
Yeah.
Jade is their head researcher that she does not want to put her kid in danger. So no one checks on her at night while she takes the boat, goes out, just flashlights in the unbelievably shallow water that their cruise tanker's in, and just fishes up a zombie. And then tranks it and brings it on the ship, and no one notices. You want to know who also doesn't work nights? Where they're parked.
Yep.
No
and
one.
It's a full zombie she pulls up. It's not just like, oh, I fished up a head. It's like, no, apparently you fished up a full zombie. And didn't notice.
No. And they do these experiments. With her daughter watching, she thinks it's okay. And somehow, in this room, they spray it with this thing, and it works. I'm like, you know what? Zombie repellent. Okay. Whatever. It's all pheromones. With a little bit of brain that they've got left, that could be okay.
That's fine.
It couldn't tell 10 feet away that there was another human being until it got within eyesight. That they've said doesn't work. They literally made them clickers.
Yeah, they did.
Their eyesight and also their hearing doesn't work. They're clickers, but with smell. So, it magically could tell that the smell of this other thing was in here when it got within 5 feet of it. Couldn't tell before.
2 feet makes all the difference.
So then it gets loose, of course, and rampages throughout the ship. Because it had to. And who does it snack on? The only character they made you care about. It goes by 19 cabins, goes out, runs past 4 people, and then snacks on the one pregnant chick that Jade was friends with.
Whoops.
Just for plot reasons. And then...
That felt all like Last of Us. Like, oh, we have a pregnant character. Let's kill her off like in Last of Us 2. That'll work.
Yep. And you know what? This is where the dumb went Super Saiyan.
It does.
Umbrella finds them. How? Billy went out and put trackers in the zombies that were in the water, knowing she was going to grab one of them specifically. She had a team go out and make these zombies swallow tracker pills underwater. And you're going to say, Brock, no, they didn't. They had them in their gullet with no insertion, intact. They would have had to have swallowed them. She would have had to have teams go underwater and insert these things into them. And keep in mind how dumb this is. To track them, she had to know that she was going to take it from that harbor, and she was at them within seconds. If you knew they were going to be at that harbor, why did you need a tracker? If you were going to be that specific to where those zombies would be.
Oh, what's that over there? Is that the script?
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. Can I have the script? Thanks. There is 9,000 extra steps that are added just to pad out this series. And they're all dumb.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to mention this. The people who play the zombies, they didn't do a great job.
No.
I think everyone's spoiled by like The Walking Dead and like zombie TV shows and movies. Like, oh, those are some pretty solid zombie acting. These are not good zombie acting. They just kind of just flail their arms and occasionally walk fast and slow at random tempos, and oh, it's bad.
Do you know what they at least nailed to a T in the Resident Evil movies? The zombies.
Yes, actually. Was it Extinction is a terrible movie, but you know what? Those zombies, they actually put in some effort.
How did we regress at the one thing they nailed?
I don't know. That really takes talent because those movies were pretty terrible across the board, and yet the one thing they got right. Yeah, no, let's just throw that out too.
Yeah, the makeup job on all of them was great, and them just slowly lumbering around was awesome. It was fantastic, but why can we have good things when we're finally putting money into Resident Evil?
On the phone of Extinction, I'm going to assume the writers might have actually watched the Paul W.S. Anderson film because this is the only other time in the franchise where, it's actually the apocalypse happening now, not just bad things happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the Wesker cloning part, that reminded me of Afterlife.
It did. And we just had to bring back more Wesker clones because whatever, give or take, Wesker was basically a clone in the first place. There was 12 of them, right? It was 12?
It was 12 of them. Yeah, it's basically a clone. Basically.
And then the only ones that made it were him and Alex?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then that was the one thing that got cleared up. That was the only thing they fixed that sounded dumb from when the pilot was made. Legit only thing. Because when you found out that they race swapped him from the start, it made it better. Yeah. Because if they would have done the soul transfer thing and then randomly he was a loving father, it would have been the single dumbest thing Resident Evil's ever done.
By entering this new body, I now understand parenthood.
Yes. And so I was going to ask, so the other part where the dumbness goes Super Saiyan. Fully Super Saiyan. Tyler, I want you, with full knowledge and expertise, break it down for me. How'd they get the crocodile locked up?
Oh my god, that was... I can't even do it with a straight face. You're going to have to do it, man. It's so bad.
I can't. I physically can't. They can't handle one zombie, but somehow they locked up a crocodile bigger than the one from Resident Evil 2.
By hand.
And it stays docile.
Yes, exactly. It's like this, bigger than the sewage gator from RE2, and we just did it. We just grabbed it. It's fine.
Are they just injecting tranks in it? Are they swimming down and injecting tranks in it daily?
No, they're not. It's just friendly.
And their plan, keep in mind, pheromone is not even a thing in the future. Their thought is, for a safety precaution, while we're at sea or on land, we're just going to let that thing go, and it will know to not attack us.
It's like a dolphin. Clearly, it just knows people.
That might be the dumbest plot point I've seen in a Resident Evil game. There is 4 to 5 things in this show that are arguing for the dumbest things I've seen in Resident Evil, and you and me both have seen some stupid shit.
Yeah, but that might actually take it, because at least with RE2 in both versions, original and remake, there's a giant alligator, but it's in the sewers because it was a crazy thing. They let it go. That made as much sense as it could.
It's just an experiment.
Yeah.
Or it just got in the water.
They just looked at this and went, we can make that far dumber.
Yeah. And we're never going to explain how we got it.
Nope.
But, so. So, we get to the point in the future, and we breezed over a ton of stuff in the past because I would break down crying if I went through just the dumb amount of just going through of the stupid horse hockey, of Parent Trap, and all this dumb shit they had to go through to find out the truth behind
CW
all
crap.
This shit. Oh, it's bad. It's CW plot lines, and I don't need to go over it. But anyway, so we get all this, and then now Umbrella is finding them. So Jade goes with them, just willingly, because, a lot of people were going to fight for it after what she did. And so they get there, and she finds Billy, who we thought was dead until we found her at the thing where she needed her blood.
Yep.
You and me talked about this. They did such a good job casting future Jade that I think that they just ran out of time casting future Billy.
Yeah, what happened there?
And I'd be like, you know what? If they just did one that kind of looked like Jade and they got one that kind of looked like Billy, I'd be fine. But they fucking nailed Jade.
Yeah, like 9 to 10. Like this looks exactly like this actors would look like aged up. But then this one's like, what?
What? She's got
if they
the
hadn't
hair.
said what her name was, I wouldn't have even seen it.
Exactly. If it wasn't for the streak of hair and her saying her name, wouldn't even have saw it. And now we get to the point of where within the past, they talked about how you could control emotion response, all this other stuff. And all. No, we skipped over a big one. No, we actually don't get to that yet. I'm sorry. That's after this.
It's a confusing show.
Sorry. How much they jump back, you should never jump back and forth as much as the show did. Ever. It was jarring at all times. But they get in the past that you can emotion response, all these things, that joy can be a great thing. So then we get in where she's just like, I'm running the show now. I'm in charge. And why? They have her with a touch of a button have Marcus doing show tunes.
Yep. She gets out of her desk and literally starts singing and dancing like a scene from Glee.
Yeah. Multiple people, including a person who's a friend of this channel, Zane. That exact scene and only that scene is floating on Twitter. It's the only scene I have shown or saw from the show, period. And no one believes it's from the show.
Yeah, no, it looks like okay, so what? They're probably thinking like, well, why'd you take a scene from like Glee and put it in Resident Evil? What are you talking about? That's not. Or it's like some sort of like a Photoshop joke. No, that's actually the scene. No context. That's the scene.
And the worst part is coming up with a T-virus or a new umbrella product that is meant to help you deal with depression and control your mood swings and control your neural responses, and then just knitting in that you can control minds is a very Umbrella thing to do.
That feels like an actual Resident Evil plot.
It does. But then you show that it can make people sing and dance. And that's
not the Resident Evil plot. It's like, you were so close.
Every time they come up with something cool, they're like, but what if it wasn't, though?
That's exactly like, this is a really good idea that can make for an interesting plot. Like, how can we ruin it?
Yeah. And then, so we get over this is not okay. This is not whatever. And then Jade's like, I'm not going to agree with this. And we find out that Billy is suffering the same fate that her dad is. She needs to have some sort of, like, I can't remember exactly what they said with the sickness, but like, she needs a cure because she's starting to deteriorate. Not as fast as her dad was, but she's starting to go slowly. But she's not perfect. Like they make it out to be that she needs something and she needs Jade's blood because Jade is fine and she's not.
Which that reminded me of Evelyn from RE7 a little bit.
Pretty much.
And also, that's the name of James Marcus's daughter. Yeah, we just mixed another Resident Evil character name in there randomly.
I literally think they just had Resident Evil stuff on a board through darts.
That's how it comes across. There's like names. Yep, this is a character now. We just mixed Evie and Marcus into one character now. There we go.
Like they had a zombie idea and then said, oh, we got the Resident Evil license. Now we can finally put this on. Because we'll just ramrod Resident Evil references into it.
Yeah, except they don't. It's like most of the time you just kind of zone out and not even remember this is Resident Evil, and then they'll say something, oh, I guess it's Resident Evil.
Yeah, and there's like points I'm forgetting that were up to this. Like I just remembered that they actually gave that dumb fuck from Umbrella a red 9 and had him be the most useless person ever until he needs to not be, and then he is headshotting fools from hundreds of yards away.
Yeah, he gets Lewis's favorite gun. No.
Oh, but yeah, the more that I don't remember about that guy, the better. But
no, and random liquor at one point.
And random liquor and not Salvador. Who's the guy with the chainsaw from 4? No,
that is Dr. Salvador.
That is Dr. Salvador. Thank you.
That was really random. Like what? He's here now?
He's just there.
It's like in Resident Evil Afterlife when the executioner shows up. Like, why? What are you doing here?
African executioner in L.A. Did you just walk here?
I guess. Just moved from Spain. Yeah, Dr. Salvador moved from Spain. Now he's here.
Yeah, but so to get out of this situation, Jade throws the pheromone down. Keep in mind, this pheromone could barely mask one person when her daughter was in the room from one zombie. She throws that pheromone down, and every zero within a country mile comes.
It just works as it intends now, I guess.
Yeah. So, and the best part about this is that Jade gets away, and then they do a very Resident Evil movie type thing where she just flip-flaps on an iPad, and these drones come around and start shooting everyone, and then these guards are helping shooting. Now tell me, were you a bit confused when she baps on that iPad one more time and has it start shooting her own guards?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Did she click the button too many times? What's going on here? What?
Tell me, because I'm confused. What plot point does that surface? What does that serve? She shoots all but one guard.
Yeah,
no, three. I'm sorry, three.
Yeah, it's like it killed everyone by like an arbitrary number of people now.
It's not like they're going to give away some secret.
No.
You're in charge of them. You failed. No one's going to know. And then you...
must really not like those people.
I guess. But like, and then they get back to the ship. We're like, we're free. But wait. We need another episode. So what happened? Our daughter got away. She got on a ship and looked for you.
Off camera.
Off camera. Because we don't know how to write connecting plots all that great. And then they're like, I know you don't like me, but trust me, that thing will know where to go. Let's unlock the big cracky. But no, I don't think we should. I think we should just drive away. No, we should let it loose. No, I think this thing will be served for a different purpose down the line. So then they let it go, and it goes right away, except for when it gets close to Billy, one flashbang grenade makes it go back in the water.
Well, that was freaking easy.
But when we cut back, it went back out of the water and then came back at them.
Yeah, I know. It's like, there's like 10 minutes you could have shaved off. Just have it come back immediately. What the...
I don't know. But they have this thing take out these drones with relative ease, all these guards, but then it stops at B. Because somehow, I guess, with no technology to do so, she genetically fudged with her daughter?
I guess that's it. Yeah, that's a...
That,
lovely.
That keep in mind, that zombie was fully ready to rip B's throat out.
Yeah.
So we have two options. They either forgot about this genetic modifying in the zombie scene, or she specifically genetically modified her daughter to not be attacked by random crocodiles that they found years later.
Neither of these are good choices.
No. I repeat, when you make Resident Evil sound stupid, you are achieving a Herculean feat.
Yeah, it's by nature it's already anime adjacent silliness. So when you have to cross over into stupidity territory, you're really kind of putting in effort.
Yeah. So we cut back in the middle of this, and sorry, we forgot the gangbuster Oscar-worthy Olive Garden scene with Bert and his nieces.
Oh my god, yeah, the product placement was off the charts.
Unlimited breadsticks. Now everyone take your... Like, oh my... Lance Reddick can act. Do not make him do that stupid stuff.
It's like,
dear God.
The man's putting in effort, but he's just making a decent quality Olive Garden commercial that eventually becomes Resident Evil, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, and we forgot a plot point, Tyler.
You know, like that's the most blatant product placement since Kmart.
It was. And Kmart was dumb because we just
Kmart was really terrible.
But we forgot a plot point, Tyler. I forgot to have it in my notes, and I remember because I mentioned Bert.
Yep, Mr. Bert.
So they say, no, you can come back to us. Those people outside are mean. I have a project for you to work on. What are they working on, Tyler?
To be honest, I don't remember. I blanked out that one moment because it was so dumb.
It is a random thing with claws coming out of its hands that to me looks like Tyrant. But it has a head with a distinguishable face, but they won't show it.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a tyrant, but they keep like showing it like partially, but it's like not the face. Like, why?
So it has the face of a Resident Evil character, clearly, because they will never show what its face is.
Yeah. It's like, well, who's that supposed to be?
Part of me thought that they're gonna be like, we made two Weskers, and that's actually Wesker's body.
That's what I was. There. Yeah. That now I remember.
I don't
exactly.
know. I don't know how dumb they're gonna get, so we'll see. But so we get back, and they're still trying to get Jade out, or Jade and Billy out through all of this nonsense. And then, also, I forgot it here.
No, I just realized what that character is probably going to be, judging by the comments the showrunners have made. But I'll bring it up in a moment. Oh no,
who do you think? Oh boy, I don't. Oof. But anyway, so there's a big moment before this where Billy has got her timer running out. And then it cuts to her. She's like, I'm feeling it. It's crawling up my skin. I'm turning. But what if you don't, though? And then she didn't.
That was the best thing. It just didn't happen.
She just basically said, but what if it doesn't have to happen to you? All of those symptoms you just said you had. I'm fine. It was a placebo effect. I wasn't actually feeling that.
I'm just imagining that sort of logic being applied to the actual Resident Evil series. It's like, but Kendo, what about your daughter? Maybe she won't turn. She's fine.
I just told her she didn't have to, and she got better.
It's like, oh my god, everything's great. What? It's like, but no, is literally what well, I'm gonna die. No. But no.
And then she starts getting worse later on.
But
because
then it goes back.
They keep flip-flopping when she's feeling good or not for plot points. Because she's fine until she has to bite Marcus's kid. And then she's not fine. And then she's fine again afterwards. Just so we can have Marcus shoot her own son.
Yeah. It's like, what? They go back and forth like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm. And then they go, we need to get out. So they have Wesker blow up a bomb to get out, and they have the cool moment where they bring back that she made fun of him for having a pen, and what do you have? A pen. And then they drop it. Give or take. That is the level of an RE4 Leon or a RE8 and 7 Ethan style comeback, but you made it sound even dumber.
Yeah, that's an RE8 level Ethan. I think this is a cool thing to say at the moment, and it's really not, but I'm going to say it with enthusiasm, except it's actually dumber now.
Yeah. It just, So he leaves, and then they walk out, and you see the claw come up out of the boulders, which means everyone there has to die, because that thing can't sneak away.
Nope.
Because its claw busted out in broad day in the middle of a group of people. And then they run away and they hide behind a sign while Bert steals a car. And then they finally had the balls to reference a Resident Evil character. And they had Wesker write down on a piece of paper and hand it to them. Go see this person. And it's Ada Wong. Can you not wait for the second season to not happen for them to ruin Ada Wong?
Oh,
Ada got chopped out of RE8 to go into this horse shit.
I'm so sorry for her.
Can we get a little bit more respect for the female characters in Resident Evil, please?
No, the most respect she got was RE6 was basically being stuck in a ventilation shaft for half an hour. So you look at her rear end, we got to kill her evil clone.
Yeah. Because I needed another campaign in Resident Evil 6.
We needed this game to be another 10 hours longer.
As much as I thought the idea of a secret campaign was cool, I didn't need another one in RE6.
No. But the claw thing, that just made me, speaking of the next season, that just made me go, because at first I was going, okay, it's going to be like, you know, a Tyrant or a Mr. X or something like that. And then I'm like, just realized right now, the showrunners have been openly saying they want to do Lady Dimitrescu next season.
Keep in mind, they've said Village has already happened.
But Village already happened.
Keep in mind. So if they bring her back, they broke continuity again.
Yeah, but I'm like, she's got a claw hand. She's kind of a tyrant-sized creature. So I'm like, oh no, that's that what they're setting up? Oh, please don't do that.
If you want to know what they could do, Dimitrescu had a brother.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I can see them doing it for how stupid the writing of the show is. I could.
See, people,
really
we have
could.
a character you like. His name is Lord Dimitrescu.
Yeah. His name is Alan Dimitrescu.
Yeah, something really, really lame. Oh,
And you want to know what? He'll be really short.
It'll be Salazar, actually. We change the name.
But, okay, so we then get the other part, which technically happened before this. The end of the future plot line. They need blood from Jade to stay alive because she's falling apart and she needs DNA. But then she figures out that her blood's not working or something to the degree of where she said she doesn't need Jade anymore. She needs her daughter. She then she goes, please take me, let my daughter be. She goes, I don't need you anymore. And for sake of letting her survive into another season, she shoots her in the stomach and leaves her with a pistol. If you didn't need her, if you didn't need her, you would have shot her in the head. But for sake of another season, you shot her in the stomach.
Yeah, she got the Nikolai fate of like you ambiguously not dead, so therefore might come back. Like, no.
It took 8 episodes of a future and past plot point for them to go, my sister stole my daughter. And nothing else happened.
Nothing else of value or note.
No, they have a drug called Joy that can mind control people, and a daughter got kidnapped. They needed 8-hour-long episodes to achieve that.
Yeah, in the same time that you could have done like a slight subplot like RE2 with like Sherry, you just basically did an 8-hour show. Come on.
You know what you should have done? This should have been the Resident Evil project that they did where they put the main characters in. They should have made an 8-hour-long miniseries with Resident Evil 1 and 2.
Yeah, that would work. That's one of the problems with the Welcome to Raccoon City is that kind of awkwardly merges Resident Evil 1 and 2 into like 2 hours.
Which, give or take, Resident Evil 1 through 3 happens in the span of like 36 hours.
Yeah.
Because 3 happens between 1 and 2.
Well, technically 1's like a couple of weeks before RE2, and then RE2 and 3 is like, yeah, it's like 12 hours.
But, yeah, I don't get the point of this. Resident Evil is built off references and stupid. Why would you make 2 new characters that no one knows and have no degree in that you now only have left caring about them?
It's Alice again.
Alice was better than them.
Yeah, that's sad.
Alice sucked, but Alice was better than them.
Mila Jovovich with throat cancer is better than this.
Yeah. At least Alice was around other people.
I also died.
Yeah. No, she didn't.
No, but in the final chapter, she dies. But then, yeah, you're right. They didn't.
She doesn't. I don't remember how the cockamamie horse shit works, but they set out that bomb or whatever that chemical is that's supposed to kill everything that's involved with the T-virus, but she somehow makes it. And the movie ends with, my name is Alice and I have work to do.
Yeah. Man.
I don't remember how it works, but it was dumb.
Very. Just like this, but not as dumb as this.
All right. We just went through an hour of talking about this, but we have a comment. So, Tyler, we're going to end the video with answering this kind person's question.
Exactly.
What did you guys think of the show? I wasted 8 hours of my life.
Oh, it was an absolute blast. I couldn't love it anymore. 7 out of 10, just like what IGN gave it.
IGN was paid.
I was gonna say, if you want a real fun time, they literally say, "What are the best adaptations of that Resident Evil?" It's like,
I have never in my
Really?
life been those
Really?
people that claim that someone got paid to make a review. This is the first time in my life where I'm like, what member of your family do they have?
I think it's like the you turn in your paper after not doing it at the last second. Like, yeah, I watched the Resident Evil TV show. It was really good. It had some references. 7 out of 10. Can I go home now?
Yeah. Wasn't there another one like GameStop gave it like a 9? There's another
Yeah.
outlet that gave it a giant big score.
I remember because some of the reviews that came out at the moment, like the review embargo ended, it was like weirdly positive, and then after that, it became like, okay, no, actually, this is really terrible. Kind of remind me of like the Blair Witch from a couple years back, where it's like the first couple of reviews were like 8 out of 10, and then everything was like 2 out of 10. It's like, oh, just put the positive ones first. I see.
Yeah, you know what the worst part of this takeaway is going to be from Netflix? Is that, yeah, I guess people just don't like Resident Evil.
Actually, you know what's sad? If you turn on Netflix right now and go to trending, it's actually #1 now. It just displaced Stranger Things Part 2.
Well, that's the thing with Netflix, though. For how often they put out stuff, the new thing's always trending. Because it's had the big... That's the best thing. Every time a new Netflix thing comes out, it's the #1 thing, and it's had the biggest opening. Thank you. Yeah, it's the new one.
Guys, people like this more than Vecna.
Yeah, and part of me is like, how many people are hate watching it?
A lot. I'm almost positive a lot.
Yeah. It blows my mind. You wanted a CW teen drama in Resident Evil, and a bad one. This makes Riverdale look like Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, I never thought someone could make the 100 look like this in Kane, but here we are.
But yeah, I needed to know if I was not making sense of some of this stuff, or if other people thought otherwise. So I thought up the one person that is as knowledgeable of Resident Evil as me to just think of stuff that I missed, or if this was just as off-ball for Resident Evil as I've ever seen in my life. And I'm okay with new things. This is just not it.
I'll summarize it with the best Reddit quote I've ever seen, which is, I've sat through a lot of bad things in this franchise. I've played Resident Evil Survivor, Gaiden, RE6, Umbrella Corps, the movies. This is kind of the worst of it all.
It is. But yeah, I've talked for an hour about this thing, and I don't need to talk about it anymore. Tyler,
Exactly.
Where can everybody find you, buddy?
Oh, at the moment I'm setting up a YouTube channel called Storytellers Guild. Hopefully we'll release the first video in the next couple of weeks. I just released a song for the first time in my career. Yeah, I think it should be on Spotify in a couple of days. It's
nice.
For a project I have coming up about the Eastland disaster in 1915. It's a song called "The Boat That Never Left Town," sung by a lady I worked with named Shelley Harlan. Who's actually a really good singer.
Nice.
Yeah. It's all better than this garbage.
It is. You can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero. This will be going up not tonight. I will edit it tonight and it will go up tomorrow. So that meaning Wednesday, I will be streaming. I was originally going to stream after record this, but I'm dead tired. I will be streaming Resident Evil 2 Remake on my Twitch tomorrow.
A good Resident Evil.
A very good Resident Evil to wash this piss stain out of my mouth. So until whenever, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Very well.